Welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title, today I'm going to be talking all things. My ring's always all twisted. Let's try that again. So anyway, all things wedding tips for all of my brides-to-be or any girls out there who know of a bride-to-be. You're going to want to send them this video because these are all the tips and all the little things I wish I knew on my wedding day and things that I actually did for my wedding day. Without further ado, let's get right into it, and let me start off by telling you about a little horror story time about my wedding day. Story time really quick before we get into these little tips. So let's rewind all the way back to a year before our wedding. So I went to pick out my dress. I took my mother-in-law, my husband's aunt, my mom, and my sister, which was my maid of honor. So we went to Bellasposa in Ontario. I guess it's technically Rancho because the side of the street it's on. But if you haven't checked it out and if you're a local in Rancho Cucamonga, California, you need to check it out. They have the most beautiful dresses. So anyway, I make an appointment, we go, and I already have this style of dress in my head. I'm like, you know what? I want this, I want that. I just know what I want. And I'm such a glitzy, glammy person. I just knew exactly. I wanted to be sparkly, but not too much. I wanted a touch of lace, but not too much. You know, just all the little things, all the things. So I pick out like 5 dresses and I have everyone picking out a dress for me. So we go into the dressing room. The very first one I tried on was the dress I took home, but I didn't know that then. When I first tried it on, I fell in love with it. All of my family fell in love with it. But, you know, I don't know. I knew that I loved it. So I went on, tried everything else, and then my heart was set on the first one. So, you know, my consultant was so sweet. She was like, let's put you back in them and let's see how you feel about them. So I went back into the first dress and I'm like, you know what? I just love this one so much. So she's like, I think it's time to bring out the veil. So she brings out this veil. It is so gorgeous. She puts it on me and instant tears. I just start crying, and I am obsessed with the show Say Yes to the Dress. So I totally had my Say Yes to the Dress moment. I had everyone in the room crying. It was such a beautiful moment, and I was sold. And I was sold on that specific veil because it was so simple yet so beautiful, and it just had these like beautiful embellishment towards like the border of the veil. Just super simple, but like the design of like the swirls matched perfectly with my dress. So I'm like, I need this veil. Like this is the veil that made the dress for me. So I ended up buying the veil. Fast forward to my wedding day. You know, for those of you who haven't had your wedding yet, you will see on the day of. But for those of you who have had your wedding, or, you know, for those of you who haven't got married yet, just, you know, you'll see. Or those of you who aren't engaged, you know, I'll just let you know how you're gonna feel. Anyway, rambling on for nothing. So you're just so nervous. Like, you could be with this person for 15 years and on your wedding day you're just gonna be nervous. Mind you, I was with my husband for like over 6 years already, and I was so nervous. So nerves are running high. My bridal party was nervous. I don't know why. Like, you just get nervous. It's so funny because all they have to do is walk down the aisle, you know. But I don't know, maybe it's because you just want that day to be so perfect. Everyone's just kind of like overthinking it. So emotions are running high. Everyone's getting ready. I'm trying to get ready, get my small things together. I'm in my dress, you know, I'm ready to go. They line us up and everything. And I walk down the aisle. We say I do. We're married now. We have our reception. We have a good time. You know, towards the end of the night, my mom and dad are there. They're in the bridal suite. They're helping me get all my things together. And behind the couch, my mom finds my veil. Let's have a moment of silence for this. I literally wanted to cry And before my mom showed me, she said, Lexee, I need to show you something, but promise me you won't freak out. And I'm like, what? You know, because I'm just trying to get all my things together to leave. And she brings out my veil. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I really wanted to cry. So I'm like, Mom, can you put it on me? So she puts it on me, and then I took one picture, I'll attach it here, with my veil on. It's so beautiful. And that's the only picture I have of my wedding day with my veil on. Mind you, I just told you the story of why I bought my dresses because of the veil, and we just failed to remember the veil. So what happened was we hung up my dress, hung up my bridesmaids' dresses, you know, for the pictures and videos. Somehow my veil was still in the bag. It looks like you know, like a dry cleaner bag, but it was white, so it wasn't see-through. So it was in one of those bags. Now we had a lot of stuff we were bringing into the suite. You know, all my girls have their makeup, curling irons, you know, just a lot of things. Their bouquets, we just have a lot of stuff. So we're trying to lay everything out. Now my mom or someone, I don't know who, laid my veil on this little, kind of like this chair, like a little seat like this. So I'm guessing with all the movement and stuff, people grabbing their things, because there was like multiple things on that little chair, it must have fell to the back. And because we're all just so nervous and emotions running high, you know, me being the bridey person I am, I told my maid of honor, which was my sister, I'm like, you failed. You're my maid of honor. You should have known, you know, to have a checklist and tell me, like, remember your veil, we got to put your veil on, you know. But it was fine. I wasn't really upset. I was kind of just a little like bummed out, a little sad, but I'm like, you know what, hey, like, you know, if the Lord decides to bless me and my husband with a daughter one day, she can wear it full on or have a piece of it. I don't know, we could just do something with it, because it still holds a very special place in my heart. Now, besides the fact that it was so expensive and I didn't wear it, but, you know, it was fine. I got over it eventually, and my mom was like, do you want to do another photo shoot with it? And I'm like, no, it's fine. For those of you who are watching this video and were at my wedding, you probably wouldn't have known, because the more modern, you know, way of getting married is kind of without a veil. People don't really wear veils, so it was fine. You know, it didn't like throw anything off. It just, I don't know, in my opinion, because the veil was so long and beautiful, it just made it look more elegant, and I wish I would have worn it, but it's fine. It's okay. I get all of my feels. So another little story time for our 1-year anniversary, I got back in my wedding dress and I wore my veil. I'm like, I'm gonna wear my veil. I love this thing. So I wore it. I surprised my husband, and he was just like, you are crazy. Like, what are you doing walking down here in your wedding dress, a full-on veil? So that's that. And I will give you guys a little sneak peek at our wedding video. I made a little clip. It's about 2 minutes long. I'll attach it to the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. So let's get right into the tips. Now, the number one tip I would give you is remember that this is your wedding, okay? The groom is important. He has opinions, he has things like that. Yes, you know, it's your guys' wedding. But for the most part, weddings, I feel, is more focused upon the bride. You know, it's just more of a bigger deal for the bride. So just remember that, because when planning a wedding, you just have so many opinions, you know, so you're getting opinions from here, there, plus, you know, your new bonus family. And just remember, at the end of the day, it is your guys' wedding. So do not get influenced by other people's opinions or the way they want to do it, or the way they would do it at their wedding. This is your wedding. So make sure everything that you pick, everything that you want is at your wedding, because this is going to be something you're going to look back at years from now, and this is all you're going to have is your memories. So whether it's a humongous wedding, whether it's a, you know, decent sized wedding, or a really tiny intimate wedding, it doesn't matter. Just remember that this is your guys' wedding, so don't let anyone's opinions influence what you want. The second tip I would give you guys is, we all love family. You know, those of us who have a huge family, or, you know, our future husbands family want to pitch in for different things, which is great. It's amazing. And if you have that, capitalize on that and be so grateful, because some people don't have that. You know, they have to do it all on their own and pay for it all on their own. It does not matter if you are having the most smallest intimate wedding. Little things add up. It gets very expensive. So if people want to help, that is awesome. It is great. Accept that help, no matter how stubborn you may be, or how prideful you may be. Take that help. But not only that, if they are willing to help or pitch in, for, let's say, the photography, they're going to pay for the photographer. That's their gift to you. Accept that and be thankful. But at the same time, I would just account for that, just in case. You just never know. You never know if something's gonna happen. What if hardships come about? What if, just think worst case scenario, and just think if that person falls through and can't end up doing it for whatever reason, just make sure you have a backup plan. So my advice to you would be just to make sure that you put money aside for that, just in case. My third tip is to set budgets and stick with it. So if you are one of those super lucky, blessed people that doesn't have a budget, then kudos to you, girlfriend. You are one of the most blessed. But if you have to stick to a budget, like I had to, because it just adds up, like I'm telling you, then try your hardest to stick to it, whether that is being more cost effective with doing DIYs, if that is being more frugal and cutting things out, like that is most important to you, then what's least important. What do you want to spend the most money on? What do you want to spend the least money on? Because that is going to count big time. And sticking to your budget is key for this, because like I'm saying, everything adds up when it comes to the littlest, tiniest things. Next tip is, if you are doing any DIYs for your wedding, start them early. Please start them early, because you don't want to be that person waiting till the last minute and then you're down to crunch time and you have your wedding day stressors, then you add these little DIYs on top of it. It's just all bad. So start early. Too early is never early enough, because you're gonna have so many things to do, and just keep that in mind. Next tip I would give to you is a huge one for your wedding day. Some people may have had the most perfect wedding day, that everything went smooth and had no hiccups along the way, which is awesome. But for others, like myself, some things just don't work out and you're just gonna have to roll with the punches. And that is my advice to you. Do not try to control what is out of your control. So another little story time. Me and my mom did all of my centerpieces because, for those of you who don't know, my parents own an events company. So my mom is super creative. They have accounts everywhere. They have so many things, in their warehouse that was used at my wedding. So we made all the centerpieces ourselves. Now, I specifically wanted these pillars going down the aisle, which my dad made me 4 of them. I bought 2 of them. So on these white pillars, I wanted huge vases, which we went to downtown LA, purchased ourselves, because they were the most perfect, beautiful vases. So we got humongous ones. We bought 2 of them to go in the front, and then kind of like medium-sized ones on the last 4. So I had 3 pillars on each side for a total of 6. Now my mom made these humongous, beautiful faux flower like ball arrangements, and those were to be put on those vases. Now the day of, obviously I was getting my hair and makeup done. My mom went down to the venue, had gone a little earlier to make sure that everything was set up and everything was going well. Well, that day decided to be the most windiest day ever. So they couldn't put the beautiful vases that we just bought, because the wind would have taken them and they would have been broken and it would have been all bad. So when I walked down the aisle, as you will see in my video, the flower arrangements are actually just sitting on the pillars, which if I didn't tell you this, you wouldn't know and you wouldn't be able to tell. So that's just one example. I could have been so upset and so bratty about it, but I was like, you know what? The most important thing here is that I'm getting married to my soulmate and that it is a beautiful day. Why am I gonna be sad or throw a fit over some vases. Yes, we spent a lot of time going to get them, but you know what? Oh well, it's out of my control. Come on now. Now, last and final tip I would give to a bride-to-be would be to put your money in things that count. Now, yes, centerpieces are so beautiful and you can take pictures of them and have them forever, but would you rather have a super beautiful centerpiece with real natural flowers that cost you an arm and a leg, or would you rather have a very, very good videographer or photographer that are gonna take photos and videos of your wedding day that are literally gonna last you a lifetime? That is a huge one, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the budgeting, but just really think about what you want to be perfect. So for me, it was my video and photography. Obviously, I wanted everything else to look beautiful, but you know what? If I had to cut costs where I needed to, that's what I did. So now, the moment you've all been waiting for, I'm gonna show you the little clip I shortened for you guys of our wedding. Enjoy. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was so helpful for all of my brides-to-be. Shake those bride-to-be jitters out. You got this, girl. Remember what's most important to you and to keep it all your style. This is your day. This is gonna last you a lifetime, and sometimes we can get so caught up in the wedding planning and all the fun things and kind of lose sight of the main objective here, which is spending a lifetime with your life partner, which is so important. So before I end this video, I just want to let you guys know that Jonathan and I took premarital classes, which were so helpful to us, like so extremely helpful. We are religious, so we did it through church, but if you are not, I would totally recommend it and totally look into that because it helped us tremendously. So we finished that right on time. I want to say 2 weeks before our actual wedding day. It was a 3-week course and we loved it so much. We gained so much knowledge and just, you know, togetherness and joining as one. So just do not lose sight of that because this is such a beautiful thing and this is such a life-changing, altering experience for you. And just remember that you are now joining as one and you always have to have each other's back. And I wish you guys nothing but happiness. And for those of you who are not married yet, it's coming. It is coming and it'll come on its own timing. Never force it. And hopefully you will come back to this video when you are about to get married and you remember these tips that I'm giving you guys. I will see you guys on my next video. Bye.